Dino Jag, welcome to Australian Musician.
I made it this morning. Unbelievable. Thank you.
Lockdown this year, it's been a crazy old year. Have you been handling it? Have you been keeping your head together?
Yeah, look, it's character building for everybody, and after you come out of the cloud of it all, it's certainly for me, it's ended up being a very positive kind of shift. Just really an opportunity to reevaluate what's important. And for artists, it's really been a big slap in the face. On so many levels, and all of a sudden, for the first time in our career, I think we've all, it certainly wasn't intentional, but when we got put into two categories in Australia, non-essential and essential, and we all fell into the non-essential category, and you can't help but take that. It's not easy to take that, to not take that personally, and really wonder if what you're doing is valuable. So it's kind of really been the impact of just having to reassess on that level. What am I actually doing? Is it really valuable to the community? Is the service that I provide, as an artist, what does it really mean? All those kind of issues. I found myself kind of really questioning a lot of that kind of stuff, and getting back to, why am I really doing this? What's this all about? What's my drive? And so I think that's a very healthy process, regardless, for anyone in any business, to kind of get back to the core of what's driving them. And for me, it's always been about creating music, and connecting with people around the world with songs that I've written and recorded. And so I really just immersed myself back into that. And that was a beautiful thing for me.
Yeah. So, who were the artists that inspired you in the first place?
For me, it started really. There was something about black singers that, just even as a kid, like whenever I heard them on the radio, my ears would kind of prick up. Something about the way that they kind of penetrated. I didn't really understand why, but there was something about it, and I think it was just on a kind of subconscious emotional level. There was something deeper that they were kind of projecting with a lot of the stuff I was hearing. But like most people, I grew up in a household with two other brothers that were older than me. One was listening to a lot of Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, and stuff like that. My other brother was listening to people like George Benson, and Al Jarreau, and that kind of stuff. My younger sister was listening to Elvis and things like so. And my dad was like a classic. Like he was into Pavarotti, and so man, it was just like there was all sorts of dynamics going around. And so the thing about it all, I suppose, the thread with it is the emotional undercurrent that people deliver with their performances, and I think that's what kind of ties all the different genres together for me is the what's driving the performance.
Yeah. You've supported many great artists over the years. So, what are your most memorable tours or gigs?
One that I actually did last year, which was really a highlight for me, was working with Beat Birtles. When he came to Australia, he only did one show, and I was blessed to be able to perform with him. And it was one of those surreal moments for me, because one of the first albums that I remember thrashing the hell out of was The Zoot. As a kid, I used to work on the weekends, and my parents would let me pick an album, and I had that album cover, and I remember that album cover vividly in my mind, and seeing Rick Springfield on there, and all the guys. And Eleanor Rigby really got a hiding in my house, and the rest of the stuff. But then, to kind of obviously follow the journey through the Little River Band, and all the great songs that have been written by Beat Birtles and the other guys, to be able to share the stage with him and actually work with him on those songs and do some performances with him was really a wonderful experience for me, one that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. Um, so yeah, that was one. Steve Vai, I remember opening up for Steve Vai, and wow, what a band he had, and we all know he's an incredible guitar player and just musician all around. But what a stage performer! It's very rare that you see a virtuoso command a stage like that. Because quite often, you get these amazing musicians, and it's kind of them with their instrument, and you're not really getting this kind of big kind of performance energy thrown off the stage. But wow, he was just like, awesome, absolutely awesome. He blew me away. So that was kind of one that kind of stood out for me as well.
Yeah. It's now 2020. You have a new single called "Can't Keep Still." Uh,
Yeah.
Tell me how that song came together.
Well, coming out of the coma of all the surrealness of wow, what's going on? All the gigs have gone. I started. Well, here I am. This is, for anyone that can see in the background here, this is where I've been kind of just doing my home studio stuff. And I feel very blessed that I actually had this space during isolation to kind of get me through. But I started recording a few songs. I thought, you know what, I can't do any gigs at the moment. I'm just going to start recording some songs that I haven't shared with anybody before, something kind of different and special. And so I just sort of sat at the keyboard and started recording some videos to share with people, and it kind of blew up from there. And I really started to enjoy that level of engagement with people. But like a lot of artists that were kind of getting into the whole ISO performance, it was all a little bit melancholy at the start, because it just felt like, the first song that I wrote was a song called All in This Together. Obviously, it feels like a bit of a cliche, but at the time, it actually really genuinely felt like that, and I was able to capture the way I was feeling at that moment with that song. But as we started coming out of that, I started feeling like it's time to get the party started again, and I kind of sensed energetically that everyone was kind of feeling the same thing. So I kind of, started listening to a bit of James Brown again, and some of the cats that really kind of get my mojo going, and when I listen to their music, make me feel like I want to move. And there's certain songs that you hear and you got no choice. As soon as you hear it, it's like there's something that just rhythmically kind of catches you, and that's what I try to plug in with "Can't Keep Still." I kind of had this shell of a song already started, and I was able to kind of plug into that energy of, okay, let's get the party started again. I wanted to write something that felt infectious in terms of, it lifted people. It made people feel like they want to move, and ironically at the time, dancing just was not allowed anymore, and it just seemed like, what, really? How did we get to this? One of the healthiest activities you could possibly a human being could undertake, to move and just let themselves go to music. It just seemed crazy, but that's where we were. So "Can't Keep Still" for me it's kind of almost become a metaphor. No, you got to keep moving. This is how you kind of get out of this crap. Energetically. Got to get the party started again. Let's get moving. Let's lift our energy. And so the inspiration for that was kind of in that direction. And then during the process of recording it here, I really wanted to find a way that I could engage my audience on another level, really missing the live performances. And the epiphany for me with the live shows was it's seeing people's faces in the crowd. That's the difference between a rehearsal room when you're working with other musicians, and then when you hit the stage, man, you're with them now, and it's all about them, and it's seeing their joy, feeling their energy. So I thought, I'm going to put the word out. If I give people a sample of the song that I'm working on, dance to it, send me a clip of yourself kind of getting your mojo on, and let's see if we can get you in the video. And the reaction was just absolutely amazing to that, and it really was the catalyst for a whole nother level of engagement and just fun. So the call went out, uh, people sent me all this video footage of themselves doing their thing, and then all of a sudden I realised that I'd never done anything like that before, so I had to learn how to put it all together. So that was another learning curve, just kind of working with the video. But yeah, it was recorded during isolation. Everybody that appeared in the video was in isolation at the time, and that was part of the kind of criteria. You had to be on your own when you were recording the footage, in terms of no kind of communal dancing or anything like that. And the way I recorded it here at home was, I just had to have each musician come in one at a time, and just record like that. So it's certainly, me, Can't Keep Still is a moment in time that will outlive me, in terms of just really capturing what happened, how I dealt with 2020 as an artist, how I evolved through that, and how I was able to deepen my relationship with the people supporting me in music. So yeah, it's I think everyone's going to have one of those stories about 2020. What were you doing? In 2020, how did you deal with it? And for me, that was it. That was part of the therapy for me, speaking more to my audience and finding ways to get them more involved in the music.
Yeah. I noticed in the clip you've got a beautiful red Gretsch guitar.
Yeah,
Tell
I
me,
love that guitar.
tell me about the guitar, where you got it, and what you like about it.
I spent a lot of years playing acoustic, doing acoustic kind of stripped back gigs, and I got used to the feel of a big body. And so when I decided, it was time to kind of plug into an amp again, I really started looking around at different kind of guitars, that maybe hollow body guitars, and the Gretsch, damn, it's a sexy guitar. I mean, look, even if you just look at the guitar, it's like, it's just one of those guitars, and the feel of it, it's great. It's got a bit of weight to it still. To be honest, I had to get used to the action. Like when I coming from an acoustic, and I'm a kind of a heavy kind of player rhythmically, and so coming back onto an electric, I had that rule adjustment phase where, I was over kind of slamming those strings, and so the tuning for me was an issue to start with kind of just getting used to recalibrating how I was attacking the guitar. But I love the guitar, plug it into my Vox, and things get pretty dirty pretty quickly. Now here's that sexy guitar I was talking about. Yeah, look, again, after playing acoustic for so many years, doing kind of stripped back kind of shows, I just wanted something that kind of was not the same in terms of weight and things like that, but just that had that kind of body to it, where I could still dig in, and I just love it. I absolutely love this guitar, and the tremolo, I don't use it a lot, but every now and then it gets a hit, which is kind of cool. But also, depending on how I'm recording and stuff, sometimes as like in the box with all the virtual amps and stuff like that, it's a plethora of endlessness in terms of the kind of sounds you can get. So but I love the feel of it, and I'm still kind of exploring it. The thing is, there's an assumption that just because you play a guitar, that the game changes as soon as you change guitars. So in many ways I felt like I was starting again, like with the instrument, just by just shifting from an acoustic back to an electric. So I haven't played electric for years. I was either singing, fronting bands, or working on an acoustic for some stripped back kind of stuff. So getting back into electric has kind of been like re-exploring the instrument again for me. So it's been very joyful, and I look forward to doing some more recording with it. So I haven't done a lot of recording with it. Actually, Can't Keep Still was I think might have been the first one that I recorded with the Gretsch. So yeah, I've got some other songs I'm about to get into, and I'm looking forward to getting into those.
Yeah. So what's your home studio setup, the interface that you use and the production software?
Yeah, years ago I started with Pro Tools back when it was Digi Design, and so the interface I'm using is the 002. So I just got the 002 back then as the Digi 002 as the audio interface, and so I went to Pro Tools because it was cross-platform. Before Pro Tools, I actually started with Logic. I started with Logic when it was eMagic, and what happened was, for anyone that kind of goes back that far with using that software, it got bought out by Apple. And when it got bought out by Apple, they stopped support for PC users. So at the time when I was using Logic, it was you could use it on a PC. So then I thought, oh man, like to get a Mac back then, it was quite a big leap. I think it was a minimum of about $5,000, to jump over to a Mac. And I thought, do I really want to spend $5,000 so I can use the same software? So it just didn't make sense. So I shifted over to Pro Tools then and got the 002 and fantastic interface. I'm still using it now with the Mac that I'm using there, but the issue I have now is, it's not compatible with current upgrades of some of the Mac operating systems. So I've had to kind of stop the clock on that particular computer that I'm using, so that I can stick with the 002 as an interface for when I'm tracking certain things at home. So yeah, that's just one of the challenges of sticking with some old gear, that you love and that's still talking to computers. As far as also Ableton Live is another program that I've kind of worked with for certain production work, just to get my head into a different space. I was kind of doing some stuff for a record company in Sydney a few years ago. They'd send me some tracks of artists that they'd been working with, and they'd get me to kind of do some remixing kind of work. And I'd go into a program like Live for that because it gets you thinking differently as a musician. Traditionally, as anyone knows, working, we all kind of tend to think in this kind of linear fashion, when we're tracking from left to right. Well, Ableton coming out with this kind of virtual system of using samples in a completely different way that your brain is used to thinking I found it really great for just breaking the mold with conventional thinking if you're just looking for fresh ideas and things like that. So I've had a lot of fun with Ableton over the years in that regard. But now I've really settled into Logic Audio as my kind of recording program.
Yeah. One of the other things that you've been doing is being a coach for the Weekend Warriors program, which is an Australian Music Association initiative. Have you found that experience?
I love that. I really do. I love it. It's incredibly rewarding. The transformation that I see people going through that program, it just never ceases to astound me because for anyone that doesn't know about the program, basically it's music for recreation. It encourages people to join a band for fun, and a lot of the people that join the program are people that maybe kind of had been playing music, and then career got in the way and they kind of forgot about it, or they've always wanted to, but they've just never had the courage or didn't really know how to make the first step. So getting those people, there's a lot of fear, everyone coming into the programs, they're all a little bit scared. There's a lot of self-doubt issues, and it's just normal stuff that everyone goes through. But over a period of about 6 weeks, people come into the program, they join a band, and then to see them at the other end on the big stage with full production, and getting that kind of real rock star treatment, where they've got the engineers up front, they've got the side of stage people, and they've got a live audience in the crowd. And in South Australia, we've been doing those shows at the Governor High Marsh, which is kind of like the premier kind of venue for touring bands here that are coming through at that level. And it's just a great experience, and the transformations are amazing. And people then establishing longer term relationships with the musicians they end up coming together with. It's great. I truly love that. Love what it represents, that program, and I really enjoy working with all the participants.
Yeah. So what's the plan for the rest of 2020 for Dino Jag?
Yeah, it's kind of going like this now. It feels like Christmas is kind of creeping up now. For me, I'm really working hard on promoting this single at the moment. Can't Keep Still. That's been a lot of work as an independent artist. I don't have a big label behind me, so a lot of all that kind of nitty gritty stuff is kind of I'm driving in the background. And beyond that, I'm really excited about the next project I'm going to be announcing soon. We're going to invite more of my supporters to jump on board for another interactive experience with another song I'm going to release. So yeah, I'm excited about 21 and just kind of rinse and repeat, keep writing and releasing music and finding new ways to engage the audience without relying on the live gig experience, because that's kind of a variable at the moment, not really knowing that could change at any time. So I think trying to work in an area that you have more control over, which is writing, recording, releasing music, and sharing it with the world online.
For people who want to hear Can't Keep Still, where's the best place to go?
Well, at the moment, head over to the Facebook page, Dino Jag. Just do a search for Dino Jag and you'll see it there. But if you want to see the video, that's the best place. To get the music, Spotify, iTunes, all the plethora of streaming platforms around the world, it's going to be available everywhere. So, love for you to check it out and send me a message. Let me know what you think.
Dino Jag, thanks for your time.
Thanks, mate. Pleasure. Appreciate it. Cheers.